everyone, welcome to the new lecture. I am here to let you explore, to let you guys explore, I guess, the Earth's internal structure. Earth seems like a salt planet all the way through and from the center appearance. So the question is, how is the internal structure of the Earth? Well, just like a piece of fruit or an egg. Yes, an egg. And it is composed of very thin skin and as an eggshell as for the egg, of course. A seed of significant size located in the center and three most of the mass of the fruit being contained within the flesh. So just the crust is about 70 kilometers thick, which is equivalent to 43 miles. The mantle is about 2,900 kilometers thick. The outer core is about 2,300 kilometers thick, and the inner core is about 12 to 20 kilometers thick. There are two different types of crust. The thin oceanic crust is composed of primarily basalt, and the thicker continental crust is composed primarily granite. The low density of the thick continental crust allows it to float. It's like the whole Earth is floating, and it gives us what do we call this? Some we say air, or some we say oxygen. We know the dioxide is come from the plant, right? In higher relief, on the much higher density mantle below, so the continental crust and oceanic crust. The oceanic crust are the two types of crust that we have. The continental crust in 27 gram per centimeter cube, and it's less denser than oceanic crust. This is the reason why oceanic crust is below continental crust. And something you should keep in your mind, that layers of the Earth are arranged this way mostly due to destiny. So let's come back to the crust. So as we know, continental crust is about 50 kilometers thick, and the density of it is about 27 grams centimeter cube. The rocks that we have in control crust mostly. We have granitic rocks. But on the other hand, the other oceanic crust is about 7 kilometers thick, and density of it is 3.0 grams per centimeter cube. The rocks, mostly basalt, disease, and gabbro. Those are the rocks that are most seen in oceanic crust, but in aquarium crust too. Makes no sense. So after the crust, we have a region that is called moho. Moho is the boundary between the crust and the mantle. It's about 5 to 10 kilometers thick below the ocean floor, and 20 to 90 kilometers with an average of 35 kilometers beneath the typical continents. And it's about the oceanic floor, and 20 to 90 kilometers beneath the continent. After this comes the mantle, which is this orange, as you can see on my background or the video. Mantle is about 2,900 kilometers, which is equivalent to 1,802 miles thick. It is constituted of 83 of Earth's volume. If it is the largest layer in the Earth, mantle is composed primarily of not molten rock, of not solid rocks, but on a rock that is kind of solid plastic. The composition of these rocks primarily is 46% is silicon oxide, then 38% is magnesium oxide, and 8% is iron. Earth's mantle is through be composed mainly of olivine-rich rocks. It has different temperature, and despite it has different temperature and depths, the lowest one immediately beneath the crust and increase with depth, and the highest one, or core, where the heat producing core is steady. Increase of temperature with depth is known as the geothermal gradient. The geothermal gradient is responsible for different rocks. Behaviors are usual to divide the mantle into different zones, and that is the upper mantle and lower mantle too. The upper mantle extends from the moho to a depth of about 660 kilometers, where we have three types of mantle. Or the upper mantle, we have the lithosphere mantle, and the asthenospheric mantle, and we have the transition zone rock. In the upper mantle are cool and brittle, while rocks in the lower mantle are hot and soft, but they are not molten. You should keep this in mind, okay? Rocks in the upper mantle are brittle enough to break on the trees and produce earthquakes. After this comes the outer core. After this comes the outer core. The outer core is about 2,300 kilometers thick, and the density of the outer core is about 5 pointers, 6 to 9.9 grams per centimeter cube. The outer core, or the state of the material that lays in the outer core, is liquid. So far we had the crust to be solid, we had the mantle to be in plastic state, which is not solid, not molten, but in between. The outer core is liquid, and it is composed of iron and nickel mostly. The core accounts for 1/6 of Earth's volume and 1/3 of its mass. The reason of this heaviness of the core is that it contains a lot of iron, and nickel or nickel, and these two materials are really dense. This causes the other core to be extremely heavy. After the outer core, we got the inner core, which is the innermost part of the earth. The circle one, you can see it right. The inner core is about 12 to 20 kilometers thick, and of the density of this inner core is about 12.6 to 30 grams per centimeter cube. I think we're almost done, and I can finally sleep. The inner core is solid, not like the outer core, which was liquid. The inner core is solid, and the inner core is composed primarily of iron, even though the inner core is this picture. And behind this video. Looks big, right? But the inner core constitutes 1/142 of Earth's volume. So it's very, very tiny. But it's extremely dense. This is the reason that the inner core lays in the innermost part of the Earth, because it's extremely dense. You already know that, right? Core is really important for Earth because composed of iron, and it's not just static. And that's all. Thank you and good night.